You're watching Newsday TV. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ken Bufa. Hurricane Melissa has made landfall on Jamaica, causing severe damage across the island. Now, experts say the Category 5 storm is the strongest to hit the region since record-keeping began, with 185-mile-per-hour winds and a storm surge of up to 13 feet across southern Jamaica. Their prime minister is expecting catastrophic damage, saying no infrastructure in the area can withstand a Cat 5 hurricane. The storm is now making its way to eastern Cuba. Meanwhile, tomorrow marks 13 years since Superstorm Sandy hit Long Island. And according to a report by the New York's comptroller, Long Island continues to be vulnerable to extreme weather. The report shows Suffolk County has led the state in severe storms for the past 3 decades. Long Island as a whole has filed the most flood insurance claims in the state in the last 47 years. And there's a lot of uncertainty for Long Islanders who rely on HEAP. That's the Home Energy Assistance Program to heat their homes because funds are still frozen due to the government shutdown. About 70,000 Long Islanders received funding from the program last year, which totaled roughly $19 million. Applications have been delayed indefinitely, and the state tells Newsday they are not able to provide heating assistance until mid-November at the earliest. After more than 50 years, Nunzio's Pizza down in West Babylon is closing. Now, on its Facebook, the pizzeria on Route 109 announced this Saturday would be its last day. No word yet on what exactly will replace it. And according to U.S. News and World Report, 17 Long Island schools have been named among the best public schools in the state. Lakeville Elementary School in Great Neck and Jericho Middle School were near the top of that list. Lakeville ranked 12th and Jericho ranked 24th.
I'm Jasmine Anderson. At the start of this school year, students across the island came to class without something very familiar to them, their phones. That's because the state's bell-to-bell cell phone ban went into effect. It requires public school students put away their smartphones for the entire day. Now that the school year is well underway, how is the rollout going? Well, joining me now to talk more about this is Newsday education reporter Nunzio, Brett Strauss, Valley Stream Memorial Junior High School principal, and John Caulfield, a middle school counselor and president of the Levittown Teachers Union. Thank you all for joining me. I want to begin with Don. Explain more about the cell phone ban and how is it actually being enforced?
So right now there are about 2 approaches. So students, when they get into the school, the first thing they do is they put it away in their lockers or in the lockable pouch, and they retrieve it at the end of the school day, either from their lockers, and for their pouches they open it at the end of the school day.
Okay, so there's some options there. And Brett, how does your school enforce the ban, and were you worried about it at first?
So we enforce the ban by requiring students, as Dan said, by putting them in their lockers. So we expect students as they enter the building, once the first bell rings, all the cell phones are away and we shouldn't see them for the end of the day. If we do happen to see a child with a phone, we take the phone away. The first time we have to take a phone, the student gets it back at the end of the school day. If the student has their phone out a second time, their parents have to come pick it up. We've been very fortunate in that we haven't had any instances where there's been 3rd or 4th time repeated. If that's the case, we hold the phone for a longer period of time until the parent can come pick it up. When we first heard about the cell phone ban, we were all nervous. We thought it was going to be a full-time job, collecting phones, fighting with students, fighting with parents, but it hasn't been that at all. Everybody's been on board and it's been terrific.
Oh, we're about 2 months into this, so off to a good start.
Off to a great start.
That's good to hear. Well, John, I want to bring you into the conversation. Was there pushback from parents? What about the students? If so, how was that handled?
Yeah, look, I think the more appropriate word is probably anxiety. But our district, especially our central office administration, our building level administration, did such a fantastic job of involving all the major stakeholders in Levittown to have conversations about what this might look like as September approached. And I think that there was just a lot of reassuring going on the phone with parents, reassuring them that there will be ways to still keep in contact with their kids. I think it was more of an anxiety because the phones provided some connection still between home and school. And, unfortunately, I remember a day and age where I worked in Levittown and cell phones didn't exist. So there were always ways historically to get in touch with a parent or get in touch with your child if you needed to. We have ways to bring them down to the main office and use a landline phone or through the school counseling department. We could still get kids in touch with their parents and vice versa if needed. So I think it was not so much pushback, but anxiety, and we just did a lot of reassuring in the months leading up to the start of the school year.
So communication is what I'm getting there. And Don, we know New York's policy is part of the growing trend. Let's talk about that.
Right, so New York this year is one of 17 states to begin new restrictions in school. And there are many other states nationwide who have already done it. Florida was the first state to implement the law, a similar restriction. So yeah, we've seen this kind of growing everywhere.
Okay. Governor Hochul pushed for the ban, saying it will minimize distractions and improve youth mental health. This is the common goal here. John, are you seeing that?
Yeah, there's been a significant positive outcome here already. I think the long-term effect on mental health is still to be seen. But the ban has already increased what we believe to be so many positive things that will ultimately have positive impacts on kids' mental health. For example, the student engagement has gone up significantly in just a couple of months. You see kids interacting and engaging in the hallways between periods, in the cafeterias. You see when they're packing up their belongings because the bell is going to ring and next period is on the way, they're engaging with one another. So, the improvement or increase in social interaction and student engagement with one another has been tremendous. And I think ultimately over time, yes, you will see what is a positive impact on students' mental health. I think it's just a little too early in this event and in this endeavor to really see if yet there is an overall positive impact on mental health. But we're certainly well on our way, and there are indicators that are pointing us right in the right direction, no doubt.
Well, Brett, what changes are you seeing in your students? I hear they're spending a lot more time outside.
So one of our bigger concerns was the lunchrooms. Yeah. Students didn't have their phones to go on, and they were finished eating. They had 45 minutes on what they were going to be doing. So we initiated a program where kids could go outside and have recess. And it's been amazing. I mean, kids are outside, they're playing, they're on the field, they're laughing together. We've also seen students less inclined to be alone. We were talking to one student who talked about she was on, where she would have typically been on her phone in the cafeteria. She was off her phone. She saw another student who was sitting alone. She went up to them, and now they're friends. So we're seeing students engage with each other, talk to each other, and the playing outside is amazing. And just hearing the kids laugh and playing and just being kids, it's really nice.
And making new connections.
It's remarkable.
That's what we want to see.
Yep.
Don, are there any exemptions to this rule? Because I'm sure there are parents out there who, like you said, maybe they're on the fence. What are some of the exemptions?
Right, so the exemptions are for medical, family, and educational reasons. For example, if you have a medical condition, you need to monitor through your phone, you're exempt. Or if you have to arrange care for a family member, or if you're an English language learner, you need the phone for translation services, so those are exempt.
Okay, so there are exceptions to the rule.
Right.
Well, I want to end the conversation with you, John and Brett. One more question for you. John, I'll start with you. Do you eventually think this will become the new normal?
I really do think that's possible. I think you heard Brett say it at the beginning of our conversation. We were anxious about what this would look like and how our teachers in their classrooms would manage it, how our administrators in the buildings would manage it. I think there was a lot of anxiety around that. But we've seen such a buy-in, and we've seen so much compliance with the new rule that I think that this could be the new norm, that this will be compliance across the board. I do believe that that is sustainable over the course of time. I also think because the rule applies to everyone, that you got so much buy-in. So a lot of the anxiety, again, that we had as educators, especially our classroom teachers leading up to the school year, has been alleviated because we've seen so much compliance and buy-in from the students. It's made management all that more easy, for sure. Yeah, I could see it being the new norm.
Brett?
I agree 100% with John. So, I think this was the hardest part because kids were used to bringing their phones. Now, as we cycle through year after year, this becomes what the expectation is, and they know coming in it's not going to be. They never had it that way. I think it was harder for the students who were in our school last year who expected they would come in and it would be the exact same way versus a student who was the 7th graders who were newer to our school, and that was just something that they just did. Now, every year, that will be just what they do. I think John also mentioned that everybody's doing it. So there's nobody's worried about what they're missing on social media or what their friends are saying because everybody's off of it. So I think the fact that nothing's happening while they're off their phones prevents the concern about what's going on.
So they're locked into the classroom, locked into new connections, right. And just overall, it's an opportunity for everyone to work together as one. Exactly. And get work done in the class.
That's it.
That's it. Well, it will be interesting to see what changes come from all of this. This ban in the future. We'll follow this very closely. Maybe at the 4th quarter, we'll check in with everyone. My thanks to Nunzio, Brett Strauss, and John Caulfield for this conversation. You can read more about this on our website on Newsday.com. I'm Jasmine Anderson. Thank you so much for watching.
Only in Newsday, shortly after her son was born, an Islip mom was diagnosed with an aggressive form of breast cancer. Newsday TV's Jasmine Anderson tells us what she did next.
Bye. Bye. Who's leaving, Daddy?
The Buska family is busy in their Islip home.
Okay, bye. Love you. Have a good day.
First-time mom Christina is taking orders for breakfast.
Do you want some eggies?
And baby Eli knows what he wants. It was during this daily routine the nursing mother noticed something was off.
My son was 6 months and I noticed something wasn't right in my right breast. Actually, it was closer to my collarbone.
Right away, Christina got a mammogram and pushed for additional testing.
You have to advocate for the sonogram because my sonogram lit up. My mammogram was clear, which is very scary.
The special education teacher learned she had an aggressive form of breast cancer at age 35, known as triple negative.
You associate tiredness with being a mom. Like, you don't think it's cancer related.
Christina is not alone. The American Cancer Society says breast cancer rates are rising among women younger than 50. Dr. Ruby Sharma is a medical oncologist who treats breast cancer patients at Northwell Health's Center for Women's Cancer in New Hyde Park.
Don't think that you are too young. Don't be afraid if you are pregnant or lactating. Imaging modalities like mammogram, sonogram, they're very safe.
Motivators like these pink boxing gloves would help Christina fight through treatment. Her first day of chemo, January 29, 2025.
I was like, there is not going to be a day that I let this win. And I said to my mom, as we were walking out of one of my first appointments, don't ever bring that wheelchair.
She knocked out 16 rounds of chemotherapy at Memorial Sloan Kettering. And 3 weeks later, she had a double mastectomy.
I thrived. I never laid in bed. I would drag myself down here and lay on the couch, lay on the floor and play with him.
The support of her family and love for her baby boy got her to the finish line so she could continue her routine.
Good night to the moon and the 3 little stars.
Cancer-free. Jasmine Anderson, Newsday TV.
Now, to see more exclusive content just like this, go to Newsday.com. Click Get More below the Newsday TV video box.
Oh, wait! Before we get to that, and this, no, you came out of nowhere too, okay? Let's explore some of the jobs behind the Gateway Playhouse's haunted house. So, without further ado,
Grab your treats, we're going tricking.
first, let's meet Managing Director Paul Allen.
I oversee everything in its entirety because there's so many other parts to it, how security works, how concession works, how the hot chocolate stand works, you know, the ins and outs, the patrons coming in and out. There's hundreds of people that come through the haunted house every evening.
And what attracts the hundreds of frightful fans a night? Well, some say it's the more than 60 actors which are all assigned a specific role.
You are mentally deranged and physically altered in some way.
Or could it be the fashion? In fact, let's talk costumes.
There's a bunch of us that sit down basically at a big meeting and we go through character by character.
Janine Loesch says each costume must serve a purpose and serve its performer.
We decide what the characters are going to be and then we build the costumes based off that information.
And And what's an outfit without a little makeup? Well, in the dungeon, Dustin Lawson is in charge and needs to work fast.
Between 60 to 80 actors a night, in about 10 to 15 minute makeup slots apiece. Think on your feet pretty quickly, and if something goes wrong, fix it in the moment and just keep going.
So let's see if we're ready to spook. Assigned role? Check. Costume and makeup? Check. Motivation?
I'm always looking to give people like the perfect scare.
Check. Now that we have all our haunts in a row, we need one more thing. A motivational team pep talk before the scares begin.
Distract and scare, distract and scare.
Okay, it is time to see all this work in action.
Yeah, wish me luck. Should be fun.
Oh my God! I thought there was somebody behind me and there was. No, you came out of nowhere too. It's the worst.
Towards the screaming, not towards the screaming. Their faces are everywhere. Which way do I go? I am a grown man inching my way through walking.
You know, between the screams, I noticed it takes a lot more heart than haunt to bring this large production to life.
I think the most important part to make this job work would be to have the passion to do what I do, to love the theater, to love the haunted house, to love the people that are working here and making it all happen.
Because when it all does come together, it truly provides people the worst night of their lives.
I am totally ready to duck out now. Okay, still behind me, still behind me.
Ken Boofa, Newsday TV.
Oh, that Ken Boofa is great. All right, let's take a look at your 7-day forecast, including tomorrow's weather, shall we? To see how Halloween is shaping up. So first, we have cloudy skies tomorrow. Temps not even reaching the 60s. It's going to be chilly. As for the 7-day forecast with Friday in view, yes, there is no rain as of yet. We have some wind. Temps will be in the 60s, so not too bad. 47 at night for Halloween, but Thursday looks like we have some rain before we get there.
Long Island weather is brought to you by PTRC.
Now for more on the stories you've seen here today, head over to Newsday.com. Click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. I'm Ken Boofa. More news coming up.